Hello everyone and welcome back to WeTeach.U. In this complete step-by-step tutorial, I walk you through every major feature of Claude AI, from the basics of the interface all the way to advanced use cases like deep research, interactive artifacts, and AI-powered lesson planning. Whether you are a teacher, an educator, a tutor, or just someone who wants to get the most absolute of Claude, this video covers everything. What you will learn in this video is how Claude works and how it compares to other large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, and other AI tools, how to write better prompts and get dramatically better results, how to upload files, PDFs, and images for analysis, how to use Claude's web search for real-time research with citation, how to create interactive applications, lesson plans, and documents using artifacts, and how to run deep research reports with full source citations. You will also learn the most powerful educator workflows, including lesson plans, quizzes, rubrics, differentiated materials, parent emails, and student feedback. You will learn as well how to use projects and memory to give Claude persistent context. And finally, you will learn the ethics of AI education, hallucinations, academic integrity, and student privacy. In this course, we will have 10 chapters. The 10 chapters are going to begin with an open demo, an introduction, and who this tutorial is addressed to. Chapter 1 will explain what Claude is and why it's different. Chapter 2 will explain how to talk to Claude, which means we're going to explain the prompting fundamentals. Chapter 3 will explain to you the way you upload files, PDFs, and images. In Chapter 4, we'll discuss the web search and real-time research. In Chapter 5, we'll explain how to use artifacts, document code, and interactive applications. In Chapter 6, we'll learn how to conduct deep research. In Chapter 7, we're going to explain the uses of Claude for educators, and this is going to be considered as the power chapter. In Chapter 8, we'll discuss how to benefit from the memory of Claude and projects. In Chapter 9, we'll learn Claude Code, mobile app, and plans. And in Chapter 10, we will be reflecting upon the ethics, limitations, and responsible use of Claude AI in the classroom. If you are a teacher, save this tutorial with your staff. The tutorial is designed to be used as a professional development resource. Feel free to share it with your department, your school, or your whole network, and make sure to subscribe for weekly AI for education content. And also, you can drop a topic in the comments and we will build a live lesson for it. If this saved your time, a like helps more educators find it. We have no paid relationship with Anthropic, the company behind Claude AI, and all of our opinions are our own. Claude is used across all demos in real time without any pre-generated outputs. Write a subject and your grade level, the grade level that you teach in the comments, for example, grade 5 fractions or high school Romeo and Juliet, and we will build a live lesson plan reply using Claude. Let me know in the comment what's the first thing you're going to use Claude for. Let's begin Chapter 1. We will introduce what Claude exactly is and why it's different than other platforms. Let me type this into the box and see the ample opportunities that Claude offers me as a teacher. Let me write this prompt. I need a full lesson plan for a grade 8 science class on Newton's law of motion. I need to be specific in my prompt. As usual, I need to ask Claude to include learning objectives of the lesson, a 45-minute activity breakdown, a differentiated worksheet if I have different levels of learners, especially if I have 3 levels of students in my class, and I need to end up my prompt with a request for a 10-question quiz. A 10-question quiz with an answer key. That's my prompt. I'm using Sonnet 4.6, which is most efficient for everyday task, and I'll be sending the prompt and checking the content that I've just requested Claude to create. And here is what I got. I've asked Claude to list the learning objectives. So here he built the full lesson plan as a well-formatted document, as you see here. It ran 5 comments and edited the file. So you have a complete lesson plan with 4 parts. In part 1, I have the learning objectives, the knowledge and understanding, stating the laws, defining vocabulary. I have the application and analysis, and I have the science practices, how to design experiments and communicate findings, and it's aligned with the curriculum. In part 2, I have the 45-minute break down that is let out as a color-coded timeline. You see the timeline here, since it's a 45-minute lesson. And then I have, for each part of the lesson, for the hook and the prior knowledge activation, I have 5 minutes. From minute 5 to minute 12, I have direct instruction and an explanation of Newton's first law, and so on and so forth. And in part 3, I have the differentiated worksheets that include 3 separate versions. Level 1, the support level, I have a word blank fill-ins, a formula reference box here, guided calculation scaffolding, that's for level 1. For level 2, which is a grade level worksheet, I have standard short answer and calculation questions. And for level 3, I also have a differentiated worksheet, which is considered compared to other as the challenge worksheet, where I have an experiment design, elevator force problem, and where I address misconceptions and the projectile motion. In part 4, I have the quiz plus the answer keys, which has 7 multiple choice questions and 3 short answer questions, followed by a full answer key table with explanations, model answers for all 3 short answer questions. If I would like to change some of the questions, I can download the file to check all the content if it really aligns with your curriculum standards and with your lesson content in the book. You can edit the file as you see. So let's start at the beginning. You see the amplitude of the opportunities that are offered by Claude. Let me introduce Claude. Claude is an AI assistant made by a company called Anthropic. It's a large language model like ChatGPT or Gemini or any other large language model, which means you talk to it and it responds. So if I first log into Claude, if I have my account, I just need to sign in. If I don't have an account, I need to sign up. And here, I want to be honest with you right from the start, because I think most AI tutorials skip this. Claude, like any other LLM, is not magic. It's not all-knowing, and it makes mistakes. Sometimes it can be confidently wrong. We'll talk about all of that in chapter 10. But here's what Claude genuinely is, and this is what made users fall in love with it. Claude is, without exaggeration, one of the best thinking partners users have ever worked with. It doesn't just answer questions. It reasons through problems with you. It challenges your assumptions politely. It explains things at whatever level you ask for. And it has read, or rather, been trained on an extraordinary breadth of human knowledge. For educators specifically, since this list of tutorials is going to be addressed to educators, think about what that means. You now have access to something that can explain any concept at any level, in any format, at any hour of the day, and never gets frustrated, never gets tired, and never makes you feel stupid for asking. This is genuinely new. That has never existed before. And I think it's going to change teaching and learning in ways we're only just beginning to understand. Let's compare Claude with other AI tools. Now, you might be wondering, why Claude and not any other LLM? After spending serious time with large language models, here's what I keep coming back to with Claude. First of all, you have the writing quality. Claude's writing is, in my opinion, noticeably natural, more nuanced, and human feelings. So, if you just read and check the writing quality, and when you use it to draft, for example, feedback for students or a letter to parents, it doesn't sound like a robot wrote it. Second, the reasoning. Claude is exceptional at following complex multi-part instructions, as the one we've just seen. And in chapter 7, I'll show you prompts with 5 or 6 specific requirements, and Claude nails all of them every time. Third, you have the safety design. Anthropic, which is the company behind Claude, was founded specifically to build AI safely and responsibly. That matters. It means Claude is thoughtful about what it will and won't do, and actually that makes it more useful in educational settings, not less. And fourth, the context window. Claude can hold an enormous amount of text in a single conversation. That means I can paste in an entire curriculum document, a 30-page textbook chapter, or a full research paper, and Claude would read, understand, and answer questions about the whole thing. We'll see this in action in chapter 3. Section 3 of the tutorial, the interface tour. So this is Claude AI in your browser, and you will find the links to Claude, to download Claude to your desktop or to your iOS or to your Android below. And let me walk you through what you're looking at. This is the sidebar. So on the left, you have your sidebar, and this shows your recent conversation. Claude organizes them by date automatically. So here I'm opening the sidebar, and I'm just having a look at what exactly I can start. Do I want to start a new chat, or do I want to come back to my previous chats and see when exactly I started this chat, and if I want to continue it, I've just asked Claude to create a grade 8 Newton's laws lesson plan. I can continue the conversation about this chat. This shows all of my recent conversation. I can also create projects here, which is a feature we'll dedicate a whole chapter to. But we'll think of a project as a dedicated workspace for one subject, one class, or one ongoing task. For example, grade 8 physics class. Claude remembers everything inside it. And here at the bottom, you can see which model you're using. If you're in the free plan, you will have access to Claude, which is excellent. And if you're on the pro plan, like my plan here, you will also see options for different models, including more powerful ones for complex tasks. Suppose I'm starting a new chat. I have 3 thinking models: Sonnet 4.6, which is most efficient for everyday tasks, Opus 4.8, which is efficient for complex tasks, and Haiku 4.5, which is the fastest for quick answers. And this is the simple textbook, which is your entire interface. You don't have complicated menus. You don't have confusing buttons, just you typing and Claude responding. You can also attach files here. So you click here and you can attach files, photos, take a screenshot, add to the project, skills, add connectors, add a plugin, and you can enable the web search here. This is the toggle for the web search. And you can also start a new conversation anytime with this button. In section 4, we'll show you your first real interaction with Claude. Let's have Claude introduce itself. But I want to show you something specific here. Hi, Claude. I'm a teacher. Can you tell me what you are? What you're good at? Because I'm a teacher and I need to know exactly what Claude can provide me with and what your limitations are. Because, you know, every language, large language model has limitations. What your limitations are, please be honest. Notice a few things here. Number 1, this is an introduction. I'm Claude, an AI assistant made by Anthropic. That's a large language model, meaning Claude was trained on a large amount of text and learned to generate helpful, coherent responses. It doesn't think the way humans do, but it recognizes patterns and predicts useful output based on the training it is subjected to. So I asked it what it is good at. It is good at explaining concepts at different levels. It can simplify something for a 10-year-old or go deep for an advanced student. It's good at writing and editing, writing lesson plans for teachers, rubrics, feedback, essays, emails, report. It is good at brainstorming and generating ideas for teachers, activities, project, and discussion question. It can summarize long text, answer questions across a wide array of subjects like history, math, literature, physical activities. It works through problems step by step, especially for mathematics teacher. And for logic, it adapts tone and style. Sometimes it's formal, casual, age appropriate. So Claude is honest also about its limitations without being prompted. That's not something you always see with AI tool. So some of the limitations is that sometimes Claude can be wrong confidently This means that teachers should verify important facts, especially in specialized or rapidly changing fields. Sometimes the knowledge provided by Claude has a cutoff because Claude was trained on data up to around mid-2025, so it doesn't know recent events without searching the web. It doesn't truly understand because it processes language. It has no lived experience or emotions or genuine comprehension. Sometimes it simulates understanding, but it's not the same thing. It cannot replace relationships like the relationship with the mentor. It cannot play the role of a motivating instructor because you need the human connection that your teacher provides you with. And this is something that is not replicable. It doesn't have memory. It can be gained by students. So it doesn't feel like a press release or a corporate frequently asked questions. It feels like an actual response from something that understood your question. And 3, it acknowledged the fact that I'm a teacher. That's why most of the examples given are examples relevant to teachers' need. That context, that one detail already shapes how it answers. We'll build on that idea throughout this entire tutorial. And the more context you give Claude, the better it performs. So that's the foundation. You know what Claude is, how it compares to other tools, and you've had your first real look at the interface. We will learn how to create complete lessons and self-correcting assessments with Claude. One of Claude's most powerful features for educators is its ability to generate complex instructional materials from a single prompt. Instead of spending hours preparing lesson notes, examples, exercises, and assessments separately, teachers can ask Claude to produce an entire learning sequence tailored to a specific grade level and topic. What makes this even more valuable is that Claude can generate interactive HTML assessments with automatic correction and instant feedback. This means that with a single prompt, teachers in general and subject-specific teachers in particular can obtain not only the lesson content, but also a ready-to-use digital quiz that students can complete independently while receiving immediate feedback on their performance. Let's see an example. Suppose I'm teaching a chemistry lesson on acids and bases to grade 8 students. Please pay attention to the way I'm writing the prompt. You are an expert chemistry teacher, and also I need to give it another role. You're an instructional designer because I'm asking Claude to design content for my lesson. So I gave it another role, not only a teacher, but an instructional designer. That's the role. Then I continue with the task. The task is create a complete lesson presentation. You can specify and ask Claude to create a PowerPoint presentation. You need to be as specific as possible. An editable PowerPoint presentation on the following chemistry theme. So I specified the subject, that's chemistry, and I also chose the chemistry theme. What's the theme? Acids and bases. That's my theme. I need to specify also the content, the context of the lesson, my target learners, all of these should be very specific, are 8th graders. It's better also to specify the lesson duration, because if it's a 1 hour lesson duration, the content will be different than a 3 hour lesson duration. So the lesson duration is 2 hours. I'm also being specific about the timing. And I also specify the language of instruction. So if I teach Arabic, then the language of instruction should be clearly specified. I'll be choosing English as the language of instruction. That's not enough. I need to give Claude details about the structure of the lesson. So I need to ask Claude to structure the lesson as follows. Notice how specific I'm trying to be. Number 1, I need a clear lesson title. And this should be done for all prompts. Number 2, I need a simple introduction that connects the topic to real life. A simple introduction in the PowerPoint presentation. And I need this introduction to connect the topic. And this is very important for students because they like to have this real connection between what they are learning and real life. So that's another specific prompt. Number 3, I need to include in the content the learning objectives, because students need to know clearly which lesson objectives you're working on. And do not forget the key scientific concepts, because by the end of the session, students are required to master key scientific concepts clearly and progressively. So gradually and little by little, students will get to understand the scientific concepts behind the lesson. I need to make sure that students are given important definitions, especially if it's the first time this lesson is taught to them. And number 6, I need step-by-step. You see how many sub-prompts I'm including? So step-by-step explanations of these key concepts. So while I'm writing my prompt, I advise you to write your own prompt and to align it with your course goals and lesson objectives. So I need explanation of key concepts with examples to make my lesson as comprehensive as possible. And it's very important to include visual suggestions, especially when you're teaching a scientific subject. So I need visual suggestions or simple diagrams described in words. Number 8, I need common student mistakes and how to avoid them. Here you see how comprehensive my prompt is. So the more detailed your prompt, the better lesson content you will get. So I need student mistakes and how to avoid them, especially when dealing with acids and bases. And finally, number 9, I need a short recap of the lesson. At the end, I haven't finished because I need to assess my students. So at the end, create an interactive HTML test. Why HTML test? because I need my student to open it in a browser that can be opened in a browser and solve it automatically. I need to give Claude details about the test. The test must include 10 multiple choice questions. I need to be specific about the number of questions. 10 multiple choice questions. I need automatic correction, because when my students solve the exam or the assessment, I want them to get an automatic correction and feedback on their answer using JavaScript, because Claude is excellent at coding. I need an immediate score display so that students get their scores as soon as they finish the tests. And feedback, I also need a feedback for each answer, an explanation, and feedback for each one of the answers that students give. I need the design to be clean and simple, and to be suitable for a student at this grade level, because I'm addressing 8th graders, and I need to include in the interactive assessment a try again button. So I need to include a try again button. Please, the lesson I get from Claude is divided as follows. You have 2 files. That's the full HTML quiz. So you have PowerPoint presentations. That's part 1. Acid bases. That's a PowerPoint that I can download and edit as required. You have the title slide, real life connections as I requested. You have the learning objectives, 6 clearly stated goals. You have details of the content of the PowerPoint. You have the section header, what are acids and bases. You have definition for acid, properties, real formula example, same structure, definition for bases, and alkali versus base distinction. You have the pH scale. You have color-coded visual as I requested, a diagram. You have indicators and a comparison table between the indicators like litmus, phenolphthalein, methyl orange, and red cabbage. You have also a slide about the neutralization reaction, plus examples. You have the common mistakes as required. You have the lab safety rules with icons. And you have a lesson recap with 6 summary cards. And you have a quiz CTA to direct student to the HTML file. You can also ask Claude to make the HTML file fully functional when copied into a file named quiz.html. This is the file. That's very important because you need to give this code to the students, and students click on the link and open the test in any web browser without requiring any external library. And after running this prompt, Claude generated, as you see, a complete lesson plan. I'll show you the PowerPoint presentation now. You have a complete lesson plan and a self-correcting assessment that can be used immediately in the classroom. This is the self-corrected assessment. You can upload this assessment to a learning management system. You can share it with students and further customize it to fit your instructional needs. Let's take a little more time to examine what Claude has produced exactly, and notice that the platform did not simply generate a few paragraphs of content. It created a complete instructional package, as you see. Let's have a look at the PowerPoint presentation. Here is the PowerPoint presentation. I need to download it. This is where the real value lies for educators. Rather than spending hours developing teaching materials from scratch, we can redirect our time toward refining, adapting, and personalizing the content to meet the needs of our students. The lesson generated by Claude is excellent. Here is the link to the quiz.html. I need to download as HTML. So once I download the link, I just need to copy the link and send it to my student or put it in the Word file. Okay, concerning, that's the quiz. Students will have access to the tests. That's an HTML quiz. Before I do this test, I would still encourage every teacher to review the scientific accuracy of the questions and adjust the language to match your learner's level, whether in the PowerPoint presentation or in the HTML test. First, review the test before you ask Claude to put it in an HTML format. The test also and the content of the lesson should add local examples and ensure alignment with your curriculum and book requirements. Remember that AI can help us create educational resources faster, as you see here, but pedagogical expertise remains your responsibility as a teacher. So here, let's try to do the test. That's the first question. The release H+ ions. Students can submit their answer. Once I submit an answer, I'm showing you here a wrong answer because it's violet. I submit my answer and I get feedback. And here is my total score. It's 90%. It tells students how well they performed in the test. They can try the test again here. You can click on this and try the test again if you want, and you get a complete feedback of your lesson. Congratulations, you have just seen how Claude can help transform a simple topic request into a complete learning experience. As you see, we have a full lesson, including the content, the instructional materials, and an automatically graded assessment. And as we've explored throughout this tutorial, Claude is far more than a chatbot. It's a powerful thinking partner that can assist educators with lesson planning, curriculum design, assessment creation, as I did today, feedback generation with the HTML format. It can also provide you with research support and countless other teaching tasks. However, the most important lesson is not how to use Claude, as you see here. It's how to use it wisely. Because the goal is not to replace the teacher, but to amplify the teacher's creativity, expertise, and impact. When combined with sound pedagogy and professional judgment, AI can help us spend less time on administrative tasks and more time focusing on what matters most, meaningful learning experiences for our students. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore the other videos in this series. Thank you for watching, and remember, the future of education is not artificial, it is intelligently human. Thank you.